How's it going? How is it going? Yeah, time to switch to the iPhone. What's going on, people? Jason here, and this video is going to be exactly as it seems from the title and this bag I got in front of me right here. I'm a Pixel fanboy, and I'm going to be switching to the iPhone, specifically the iPhone 15 Pro, which I got yesterday in natural titanium. I've been a long-time Pixel user. My first Pixel I bought was the 4A back in 2019, but regardless, I've had a very good taste of what Google has to offer in terms of phones, and I have used some iPhones in the past, but this is, I don't know, I feel like this one's going to be different. I'm really going to make a full effort to use this as my main device as opposed to test it out for review purposes. So without any further ado, let's get to cracking on this box. And there it is up top, the iPhone 15 Pro in natural titanium. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice looking phone. What can I say? It's definitely got like a totally different design language than the Pixel. But yeah, let's go ahead and peel off this screen protector film. And yeah, as for other stuff we got in the box, I mean, we got the typical design by Apple in California pocket with the paperwork in there. Nice little braided USB-C to C cable. This was the first USB-C iPhone. Good for me as a long-time Pixel user. That's what we've been on for a long time now. All right, let's go ahead and get this set up. Oh, transfer your apps and data from Android. All right, let's do that. I've never done this before. I usually do like a fresh setup. Time remaining about 2 hours and 52 minutes. Yeah, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I can't do that. Cancel on here, cancel on here. All right, we made it. We're on the home screen of the iPhone 15 Pro. And I'll show y'all what I'm looking at right now. Yeah. I like how the clock is like behind the wallpaper kinda. Anyway, we've now switched, or rather started to switch to the iPhone. Finally, made it to the UI and the home screen. I'll see in the next scene, which is gonna be kind of more vlog-like. I'm doing kind of some of my day-to-day tasks, but using the iPhone instead of my Pixel. And so I'm actually going to leave this here as I go and do all that, and I'll see y'all in a sec. Real quick, before the vlog part of this video, just know what you're about to watch was actually shot during the summer of 2024. I'm uploading this video now though to de-influence you from getting the iPhone 16 Pro in favor of the iPhone 15 Pro I was using here. It's the one most people should get. Apple Intelligence comes to this phone, the core iPhone experience is just top notch as you'll see, but you get all that for as low as $550 used. Let's see what makes this phone so good, and after that, I'll talk a bit about upgrades with the 16 series as an FYI. Okay, so after the introductory segment you just watched, I did some work off camera getting my app started downloading on here on the iPhone. Also started getting the phone looking how I wanted it to with the home screen setup, and turned on the battery percentage display, also turned on the haptics for the keyboard, and turned off the always-on display. And as you can see, the next thing I did on camera after filming the A-roll for the start of the video was getting my smoothie going. This is my summer smoothie I put together, and I try to develop it so that it has 100% the RDA of like every vitamin and mineral a human needs. And I put it together so I don't have to really think about food. I can just have this massive smoothie and have pretty good macros and micros. I know this is getting real into the weeds, but it's my summer break, so I can do, experiments like this. I'm throwing in some shots video-wise from the iPhone and also some photos I snapped, so you can kind of evaluate, very, very first impressions of the camera quality on here. Oh yeah, and I should definitely throw in here, I had the Chronometer app as one of the apps I moved over to my iPhone, and so I was, consulting that for the recipe to make my smoothie, and I was doing all that from the iPhone, using it as my main device. But yeah, enough about that smoothie. After making it, I went over to the table outside of the kitchen, kind of just sat down and scrolled through the socials a little bit, caught up on things, did a little bit of email reading and writing, also kind of just, taking in the general smoothness of the iPhone and the UI of iOS. And yeah, you can see some shots of me doing all that, some close-ups of the phone, yeah, and just see, what my first few interactions actually doing some light work with the iPhone 15 Pro was like. Alrighty, so at this point it was looking to be gym time pretty soon, but I did want to make a quick walk to the library to get my daily value of aspartame in and get a Coke Zero. Here I'm showing you some footage from the iPhone, kind of just, on my slightly rainy walk over there, throwing in some pictures of water droplets on some leaves, so you're getting even more of an idea of the iPhone camera, and you'll get like a really full section as far as video performance once we get to the gym section. But yeah, you're seeing a few pictures here, seeing that Coke Zero in all its glory, getting in some vlog type shots of walking into the library and getting that beverage. But regardless, the mission was successful. Left the library and headed to the gym. And yeah, every shot you're about to see of me actually doing exercises at the gym was shot on the iPhone, and I made sure to throw in shots from a variety of lenses on the phone. So 1x main camera, 0.5x ultra wide, and even the front camera I did some shots with. So I'll put a little label in the bottom left corner that shows you what lens I was using for a particular shot. Today was my pull day, my back and biceps day, and I've been, pretty good thus far in the summer about exercise and working out regularly. Definitely need to do more cardio, and I could probably stand to, improve more with the form and with the actual exercises I'm doing to, get optimal muscle growth for input. But, I'm not too mad at where I'm at as far as, my gym journey. I will say the exercises in this workout were a little funky, doing bent over rows and deadlifts like right after another. Obviously that's going to fatigue the lower back more than is ideal, so you'd probably want to swap one of those out with something else. But I'm doing this for y'all. I'm looking like a wannabe gym influencer with my, phone, little flimsy phone tripod in the gym. And so I was kind of trying to do workouts I could do in the secluded new squat racks that we got, away from people and disruptions to my filming, or me being a disruption to other people working out. So that's really why I did deadlifts and bent over rows, because I could do both of those over there in the squat racks. But anyway, let's jump out of the gym segment and come back home to get some food going. Dinner for tonight was going to be baked salmon with a garlic butter on top of it, plus a bunch of light seasonings put together for the rub. That would be Italian seasoning, brown sugar, paprika, and stuff like that. Also had some sourdough bread toasted in a little olive oil and some steamed vegetables with some seasoning, but otherwise straight from the bag. And yeah, not a bad dinner at all, if I say so myself. And also plenty of leftovers for having really good salmon for the next couple of days. Oh, and I should also throw in the process of making that delicious dinner, I did use some iPhone specific features like the dynamic island, so I needed a timer to, bake the salmon for the correct amount, and I was able to set that on the phone and swipe up, and it jumps up to the dynamic island, and let's say I got Spotify music playing at the same time, I could jump between those, and ultimately, the dynamic island is a cool little gimmick. I call it a gimmick because it's working around, current front-facing tech not being under the screen, not being up in the bezel. It's working around the limitations of current tech, but it's still cool in that it's fluid, and it's a good use of OLED screens to blend the cameras into just black parts of the screen. And yeah, I enjoyed using it. And yeah, also the iPhone 15 Pro specific feature of the action button. You can see me scrolling through that here, picking out what game changer function I'm going to assign to the extra button on this $1,000 phone. I'm obviously being sarcastic. I really didn't find too much functionality with the action button. But more customization is never a bad thing, and who's going to turn down an extra button? And yeah, that was it for dinner. And if you're thinking at this point, what on earth does this guy do for work? Like, that he didn't sit down at a desk at any point in this video. Well, believe it or not, I did. Had a few work segments thrown in here, just really didn't film them. Wasn't too much iPhone usage. And also, like I was saying earlier, I'm an engineering student. This is my summer break. I got an internship and also my part-time job, plus YouTube, so I promise I'm staying busy. But in this particular video, there wasn't too much productivity going on. Just iPhone-tivity, iPhone activities with the switching to the iPhone 15 Pro. I guess the last shot I got to kind of round out things with this video was me taking a shower at the end of the day, and I kind of just threw the iPhone in the shower stream and, just saw how it performed. I didn't expect any problems. Every flagship phone these days has water resistance. Yeah, the iPhone 15 Pro is waterproof. Yay. But yeah, that's about it for the day using the iPhone 15 Pro, kind of a little day in the life type deal, showing off my initial usage of the iPhone 15 Pro after I switched to it, being a Pixel fanboy. Let's get to the A-roll, wrapping up this video. But before that, a quick sponsored segment to talk about this Avia Smart Deadbolt Plus. I've long been a supporter of making everything in your home smart, but I've generally stopped at smart lamps and plugs. But this Avia Deadbolt Plus is definitely something I'd want to add to my home because of how it genuinely improves something you do every day, unlocking and getting into your home. It gives you 8 different methods for getting in. The first is what you'd use when exiting the house, and it's a simple thumb turn from the inside to unlock. Second, there's the integrated keypad, which is probably the most obvious design difference between this and a regular deadbolt. The pin pad follows the curved exterior of the deadbolt and lets you punch in a pin for either regular use or for a limited time to give, let's say, guests access to your home. There's also your everyday tech devices like an iPhone or Apple Watch, which you can just hold up to the lock for simple and easy access. Those are of course super convenient, but if you can't hold up a device because maybe your hands are occupied, you can even use Siri for hands-free voice control to get in. Rounding out methods of getting into the Avia Smart Deadbolt Plus, there's an NFC tag, the Avia app running on any Apple device of your choice, or a good old-fashioned key. I actually commend Avia for not only providing a physical key for access to the deadbolt, but also a whole bunch of other forms of redundancy in general. That really satisfies the fear of what if my phone, or even the deadbolt itself, dies. Speaking of the deadbolt's battery, it has up to 18 months of battery life, which is plenty to keep you confident in using this thing for a while without needing new batteries. Also, installation is super easy here and identical to any standard deadbolt since this smart deadbolt has a retrofitted design. And last but not least, the only thing I've said thus far about visual appearance has been the buttons that flank the exterior, but really that just about describes it since this thing is really understated and minimal in a good way. If you look up smart locks on the market right now, you'll find there's a lot of options that you wouldn't describe as having an understated design. But this one does, and it works great as well. If you're interested in picking up an Avia Smart Deadbolt Plus for yourself, check the links in the video description, and onto my thoughts after switching to the iPhone. Alright, so it's time for some closing thoughts, and actually it's been about a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe, since the initial day where I unboxed the iPhone 15 Pro and took you all along for using it for day-to-day tasks. I meant to film this at the end of that day, but things just happened, I got busy, but I did continue to use the iPhone as my main device, and here we are to talk about my experience of what it's been like switching from the Pixel to the iPhone. So first things first, giving you kind of a big picture view of things and also maybe a bit of a disclaimer, the latest and greatest phone from any major manufacturer is going to be very good in 2024, and it's been that way for a while. So whether it's the iPhone, Pixel, Galaxy, the best phone any of these companies has to offer is going to be very good. So in a sense, we're kind of splitting hairs when we talk about things. But as for some of the things I didn't like after switching to this iPhone, I don't love iOS, right? I don't love the fact there's not very much customizability. I was able to get myself a pretty nice home screen setup going with blank spaces, but the fact that I had to download a widget and place it, where I want there to be blank space, and I have to set that up with the wallpaper, I have to turn off perspective zoom for this to be even able to work, and the fact that you can just put icons wherever you want on an Android phone is like something I never really appreciated until I did this, but I appreciate being able to set up my home screen how I want, and I wasn't able to do that perfectly with this iPhone. As for other things about iOS that weren't the greatest, if you want to get to Wi-Fi settings from the quick settings panel, you have to swipe down from the top right, hold down on the Wi-Fi icon, hold down on the Wi-Fi icon again, and then press Wi-Fi settings. Whereas on a Pixel or most Android phones, you just swipe down from the top of the screen and hold down the Wi-Fi icon. Another thing, working with files on any iPhone is not particularly pleasing when you have a Windows computer like me. You can't just plug in the iPhone into the computer like you could any Android phone and just drag and drop files. You have to do some other solution, whether it be Google Drive, OneDrive, you could email yourself files, but you can't, like with my Pixel, I could be editing a video in Premiere Pro on my computer, plug in my phone, drag and drop the file, and upload it to Instagram. But that's not going to happen for the Windows users with the iPhone. Yeah, and other things I didn't love about the iPhone, I did miss some Pixel exclusive features like call screen. So a call comes in, your only options are accept and decline, as opposed to having an AI caller be able to pick up the phone for you and talk to the person on the other side. You can have them say pre-made messages just by tapping the text on the screen. So I missed being able to do that. Siri sucks on the iPhone when it comes to, actually doing stuff that's useful, like productivity tasks day to day, or just being conversational. It's not good at that either. No, I'm not talking to you. Yeah, Google Assistant has been far superior for the, several years, 4, 5 years I've used the Pixel, whatever it is. Google Assistant's just been clearly better than Siri. I think I'll leave my complaints about the iPhone at that and talk about things I liked. So I did like the fact that it's a small phone and it sat really nicely in my pocket versus, most other Android phones I've tested that have bigger footprints. And the design is good. I feel like the iPhone is probably the most durable flagship phone out right now, whether it's this or the base iPhone 15. I feel like if you stack this up against the Galaxy's, Pixels, OnePlus, Xiaomi, this would probably come out on top. It just feels super dense and solid. And it's got that titanium, and apparently it's a better grade titanium than like the S24 Ultra. So, appreciate it. I like the cameras. Camera quality is good for photos and videos, and particularly video. I really like being able to shoot all the gym stuff on here, and it looked really good when I was doing so. I was looking back at it, and there are definitely certain aspects of the video I could see are better than what the Android phones I've tested would have performed if they were shooting the video. I like the dynamic island on here. I enjoyed using it. I like the fact that it's a, very, very central feature that you're using often, but it's still playful and smooth and responsive and stuff like that. It's a good workaround of having, front-facing tech that requires interrupting the screen. And it's a very fast and smooth phone. If you want to argue in the favor of like software-hardware marriage when it comes to iPhones, then you can say this is the fastest performance on any phone, right? With that A17 Pro chip, and scrolling around, jumping around the UI is very fast. So yeah, thanks for watching the experience of a Pixel fanboy switching to the iPhone 15 Pro. If you enjoyed this video, definitely suggest other similar videos you'd like to see. If you want to see me switch to a OnePlus phone, I've never had a OnePlus phone for personal or review purposes, so maybe that'd be interesting. But regardless, thanks for watching, subscribe for more quality tech videos, and I'll see you later.